Okay. Good evening, ladies. How are you? Nice to see you. We continue talking about Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av is going to be Be'ezrat Hashem this coming Sunday. We still pray that this day is going to be a happy day. We hope and we pray every day for the Mashiach to come, for the Beit HaMikdash to rebuild.
Amen.
But I want to ask you a question. Who knows why we went down from Israel to Egypt? The first place. Hashem talks to Abraham and he tells him, your children are going to go to Egypt, right? And we know that that's what happens. Why did they go to Egypt? So the problem started with Yosef and his brothers. If you remember, Yosef and his brothers didn't get along. Yosef dreamed that he's going to be a king one day, and his brothers couldn't stand it. And Yosef, because he really felt that he wants to help his brothers, he thought that they're not doing right things. He suspected them that they kill for no reason, that they have relations with some women, that there's all kind of sins over there, avodah zarah, gilui arayot, shfichut damim. And so he went and to tell on them to their father, Lashon Hara. And because of this Lashon Hara that he started, the brothers hated him. So Lashon Hara, continued to hatred, and because of that, they were for hundreds of years in Egypt. They were slaves. It was so hard for them, until Hashem took them out. He had to do a lot of miracles to take them out. I'll come to Yosef and his brothers in a second, and I want to continue talking to you about. So why was the Holy Temple destroyed? Why did it destroy? Why it was destroyed?
Hatred.
Hatred was in the second temple. Second temple was hatred. They didn't stand each other. What was the first temple? First temple, it says that there were three main sins in the first temple. Idol worshipping, There was this king, and he wasn't the only one, Menashe, that brought an idol to the holy temple.
The girl, yeah.
Worst thing. Adultery, also, and killings, avodah zarah. These three main sins that we always talk about. So the first temple was destroyed because of these three sins. For 70 years they went to exile. They were in Babylon, Iraq of today. Came back to Israel. Fixed the sin, but then it wasn't 100% repenting. And Hashem saw that it's so hard for them, and He took from them this evil inclination of idol worshipping. Some say even from adultery. And so the second temple, though, was destroyed because of hatred. Rabbis in the Gemara, and all what I say here, it's based on whatever Harav Bakshi Doron writes in his book Binyan Ach. So rabbis say that hatred is equal to all these three main sins that we talked about. This is how strong is hatred. Sinat Chinam. They hate for no reason, and we spoke about this a little bit last week. They continue there and they say, Rishonim shenitgala avonam, the first temple, they made sins. What type of sins were they? Adultery, idol worshipping. People see that you commit this kind of a sin. You cannot hide it so much. Killings, you cannot really hide it. So because these sins were exposed, because people knew, what other people doing, nitgala kitzam. Therefore, Hashem told them that for 70 years they were being exiled, and after 70 years, once they repent, they will be able to come back to Israel. האחרונים, the second temple, לא נתגלה עוונם. Their sin was not exposed. Why? Because what is hatred? It's deep inside your heart. You don't really show your sister-in-law, your neighbor, your, I don't know, somebody else that you hate her. You hate her inside your heart. Okay? Because their sin was not exposed, meaning they were fakers. What is fakers? I show you that I love you, but I don't really love you. Okay? Because they were fakers, לא נתגלה קיצר. Till now, we are in exile. Almost 2,000 years, we did not repent because hatred is still in our hearts. We did not fix this sin, and so the Holy Temple cannot be rebuilt because of that. Another thing they say, something similar, say Rabbi Yochanan, טובת ציפורנן של ראשונים, it's better, the first generations, the first temple, it speaks about their nails. What is a nail? A nail is something external. And again, because their sin was exposed, it's better than kresam shel achronim. Kresam means the stomach intestines, the inside of you. You don't really see what's happening inside your body. Okay? And again, it speaks about the fact that they were fakers, that they showed too much. They showed that they love each other, but they didn't really care for one another. So see how strong it is when you sometimes do things publicly, okay? So everybody knows that you're not really a religious Jew, or you're not really, following Hashem. In a way, sometimes it's much easier when you wear a skirt, or you wear, and you pretend like you're religious, and then you speak slander, and you do all kind of stuff that's not appropriate. It's really, really not good. And they give even an example. In the first temple, there was this bad king his name was Ahavat. Ahavat was doing so much idol worshipping. He was chasing Eliyahu Navi. He was a really, really bad king, and his wife was even worse than him. And so, but in his generation, whenever they used to go out for wars, they would win. Why? He was a wicked king. Why would they win? Because they didn't have people in his generation that speak slander. They didn't have people that go and tell on the other, oh, he's like this and this like this, and that they didn't speak Lashon Hara, so they were winning. But in the generation of Shaul and David, King David, there were people who spoke slander, and sometimes they didn't win. King Shaul, he died in a battle, so they didn't win. See how Hashem is careful, how Hashem is upset of people who speak Lashon Hara, of people who hate one another secretly, hiding back deep inside their hearts. And even though the second temple was built, still it wasn't in such a great level of the first temple. We know that in the first temple there was so much things that they didn't have in the second temple. For example, we used to have the Arona Edut, Arona Kaporet, this ark, and on top of this the Kruvim, the angel. We didn't have it in the second temple. We used to have in the first temple the fire that would accept the sacrifice. We used to have the Shekhinah, divine providence. That we used to have Ruach HaKodesh, Urim v'Tumim. You know what's Urim v'Tumim? The Kohen, the high priest, used to wear a Choshen. It's this thing that had 12 stones on it. Each stone represents a different tribe. And the king comes to the Kohen and he asks him, what should we go to this war? Would we win? And then the Urim v'Tumim would give him the answer. We had straight connection to Hashem. Hashem would talk from the mouth of the Kohen and explain and tell us what to do. Okay? We didn't have it in the second temple. The second temple was lower, in the level than the first one. Why? Because once we didn't fully really took care of the first three sins, so the foundation of the second temple was not so strong, and this is why it was destroyed. Until now, it's not built yet. Okay? So
I'm
again,
sorry, any pictures left from those temples?
pictures.
Yeah, any view?
Yes, maybe.
They have some
Drawings.
articles.
Drawings.
They have some
Drawing.
articles that
From
they
the
have it
image.
in Rome in the Catholic Church, in the Vatican. They have a lot of valuables from the Holy Temple, because when Titus, the one that destroyed the temple, he exiled a lot of Jews to Rome. He took a lot of time. Some say that the menorah, he took the menorah, the big lamp, the menorah he took. Some say some other things that he took. Some say it's not true and it was just Hashem just made it disappear. It sunk in the bottom of the temple. We don't know exactly where it is today. But yeah, so and we have the Western Wall, which was the wall that was surrounding the Holy Temple. Millions of people go and visit these walls and cry and ask for Hashem to show Himself again, to rebuild this temple again. Yeah, so this is what we left out from this temple. And so, see, when it says that when Yosef met his brothers, when Yosef, he didn't reveal himself in the beginning. And he did it the right way. The problem was that there was this point that he couldn't hold himself anymore. He felt so emotional and he couldn't hold himself. And this is when he revealed himself then to his brothers. Some rabbis say that this is where this problem of the hatred between the brothers were not fixed. Because if he would wait a little bit more, this problem could have been fixed. He meets his brother Binyamin. He's the only brother that comes from Rachel, from his mother Rachel. It says, "Vayevk al tzavarav." He cried on his necks. How many necks has a person? Why it's not said tzavarav? Why it's tzavarav? Why is two? Why necks? It says, because they say that Yosef HaTzadik, he saw in the future that there will be two holy temples that will be built in the portion of Binyamin. This is where the temple was built, and both will be destroyed. One because of these three main sins that he suspected his brothers, and one because of this sin of sinat chinam, of the brothers hating him. Okay. How does it start? This hatred. Let's see how small it happens every day, a million times a day. There was this lady, okay, came back from work and was so excited because tonight she's going to see her daughter comes from, let's say, Brooklyn with her grandson. She apparently doesn't see them so often, so she bought some sweets for him and she prepared some nice dinner, and she's going to come home, she's going to serve and whatever. As she gets into her apartment building, she gets close to her door. Okay, she lives on, I don't know, 4th, 5th floor. She sees that again somebody took that mat next to her house, okay, that you put next to the door. Somebody took it and it disappeared. And she gets upset. And she gets furious. It's not the first time that's happening. Who takes it all the time? She starts thinking, maybe it's my neighbor from downstairs. She had a kind of dispute with her last time. She asked her something, she didn't answer her, she probably wants to revenge on her, and then she thinks, no, maybe it's the neighbor upstairs. So the upstairs neighbor, once she told her, why do you move, you're bothering me with your noise that you do, or something. And she says, I'm going to show her what she thinks she is. She asked me once for a favor. I won't help her because this. And then she asked, no, maybe it's another neighbor. Maybe it's this one. She starts having all kind of imagination inside her, building all kind of assumptions, building all kind of on nonsense. She asked once a friend, what should I do? It's already the third time that it's disappearing. I didn't really have time to watch and see what's happening, because I had guests one time, and then my daughter came that time also, and then I couldn't really, what should I do? A friend told her, don't bother, it's nonsense. just don't pay attention to it. Just ignore it. So she gets into her apartment. She starts preparing her dinner and everything, and she was escorting her daughter and her grandson out. One of the neighbors comes to her and tells her, "Oh, so it's this wild baby that throws your mat all the time into my floor or something," right? But these are imaginations that we develop inside us, all kind of negative thoughts that we develop inside us. Okay. It says in the Torah, it says, "Lo tisna et achicha bilvavcha." Do not hate your brother inside your heart. Even inside your heart, because that's what we're talking about. See how detailed is the Torah. Lo tisna et achicha bilvavcha. Okay? Rabbanit Batia says that sinat chinam, when people hate for no reason, it's a very, very hard disease. It's like a disease. It gets into your heart and into your mind, and you keep thinking about this and thinking about it. That makes the person, make you talk, because you hate him, make you talk all kind of lies about him, invent all kind of stories about him, all kind of plots, all kind of stuff, and these lies can make you say false statement about him, false stuff about testimony about him in court, lie, do all that. And sometimes you even hate the fact that he succeeds, and it bothers you. Why her shop is much more successful than mine, and you cannot stand when other people succeed. You sometimes think, oh, it's on my shoulder. It's because I suffer from this, and when people they hate this way, it means that they don't believe in Hashem. Why? When you hate, what does it mean? You hate whatever Hashem created in this world. You hate Hashem. How can you hate something that Hashem created? You're supposed to love. You're supposed to feel positive, not negative. But when negative feelings get into your mind, you are dwell into it, and you keep thinking about this all the time, and it ruins your day, it ruins your relationship, it ruins everything. It's so not good. Speaks here about a man that passed away in a young age, and he had two boys. Two boys took his business and were trying to make something with this. The first one, his name was, let's say, Sammy. Sammy was the older one and more sophisticated. He wanted to take a lot of portion into his side, a lot of percentage of this business, and he was trying to outsmart his brother. His brother Jacob, he was younger, but he wasn't fool, and he saw and he feels that he tries to cheat on him. So he sued him, took him to court. Sammy was very upset, and because he really started to feel bad, he was the one that started, he started to tell on him all kind of lies to the court, tells to the court that Jacob, he owes a lot of money to the IRS, that he doesn't report on all kind of business that he does, all kind of lies that he invented and stuff. And you see that there's a disconnection. Not only disconnection, it's also hatred that starts to be there. So after a while, Jacob decides that he leaves this town and he goes to a totally different town. He opens his own business over there, and he didn't really succeed so much. But he married, and he has children, Baruch Hashem. He's poor, but whatever, he's away from his brother. Sammy, that stayed in the city, he made a lot of money, he was a wealthy man, he got married, but didn't have children. Many years passed like that. Many years. One day, Jacob comes to New York to speak with a rabbi, a big rabbi, and he tells him, "Rabbi, what should I do? I don't have any success in the business, but not only this, I cannot marry off my children. I'm already married, my kids, he became already almost 30, and I cannot marry all my kids. They're stuck. I don't even have how to pay, for their weddings and everything. So the rabbi is asking, tell me again, what's your last name? He told him the last name. He says, I think somebody was with this last name a few weeks ago was by me. Is Sammy maybe your brother? He says, yes, but we don't keep in touch. We had a big fight years ago and we don't. And so he explaining what happened. He cheated on him and he wanted to take a big portion and all this story. The rabbi said, I see that there's a decree on both of you because you don't live in peace with each other. You are upset at him, he is hating you. There's a lot of negative, something negative on you, and you have to fix it. And he tries to talk to him that they should make peace, that they should forgive each other, and it's very hard. But when it comes to a point when this poor guy, Sami, doesn't have married for 30 years and doesn't have children yet, and this guy, he cannot marry off his kids, and after a while they say, okay, we'll try to make a peace. They forgive each other. A miracle or what? After 30 years, he's able to become a father, this Sami? Well, where does it come from? And he started to marry off his children. See how strong it is. When people hold grudge, when people hate each other, Hashem doesn't open their luck. Hashem kind of closes their luck. Doesn't let them to continue, doesn't let them to succeed. And it's so strong. Right to don't hate each other, לא תשנא את אחיך בלבבך, the same verse, the continuation is, הוכח תוכיח את עמיתך. Means, you have to rebuke your brother, your friend, your fellow Jew. Whenever you see that he does something wrong, don't keep quiet. Don't keep smiling, because you want to see how he fails now. Rebuke him. Rebuking means tell him, hello, you're doing wrong. It's not the right way, because when we see other people fail and we don't tell them anything about this, we take the responsibility. It's our sin also. I'll give you a mashal. For example, let's say this guy, he has a wallet, and he puts his wallet behind his in the back pocket, and there's a hole inside there. And in that wallet he has gold coins, and one by one these gold coins are full. Now his friend is going behind him, and he doesn't say anything to him. He doesn't say anything. And then people see gold coins, they pick it up, and they go. And then when he himself realizes that he has a hole and his wallet is all of a sudden empty and it's not heavy anymore, he turns around, he sees his friend, and he's like, hey, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me I have a hole if you saw? No, I saw that you're in a rush, I didn't want to bother you. What do you mean I was in a rush and you didn't want to bother me? This is called when you don't care about a problem. You see your friend's son, teenage, that does stupid things. You see that he made a wrong judgment, or he did something wrong in the business. You see all kind of stuff, and you don't tell him, it's a problem. It means that you don't care. The thing is, how do we exactly rebuke? We have to learn how to rebuke. It says in Masechet Shabbat, לא חרבה ירושלים אלא בשביל שלא הוכיחו זה. They didn't really rebuke each other. This is why Yerushalayim was destroyed. So it speaks here about Chafetz Chaim. One time Chafetz Chaim, he was going from town to sell his books. That's how it used to be. And he comes to this city that's called Vilna. And in Vilna, he comes to one of the motels, and he sees a big man, tall man, strong man, a Jewish man sits, okay, in that motel, orders food, big chunk of meat, alcohol next to it, starts eating and drinking. He doesn't say bracha. He eats like he never saw food in his life. He treats the waitress, not respect, and it really bothered him. Why should a Jew, why is he acting this way? It's not nice. It's not polite. No manners. No nothing. He wants to tell him something. The owner of the motel comes to the rabbi and he tells him, Rabbi, I want you to understand, this man, he was a Cantonist. You know what's a Cantonist? Tsar Nikolai. He had a decree that they used to kidnap, abduct Jewish boys, little boys, and train them in their schools.
Yeah.
And once they become 18, they have to serve Tsar Nikolai for 25 years, away from Judaism.
Yeah.
Don't know anything about kashrut, don't know anything about Jewish holidays, don't know anything about, no Judaism, nothing. They grew like goyim, didn't know anything, and once they become old, what, they're going to start practice Judaism? They don't know anything. This is what he did. This is how he wanted to destroy Judaism in Russia. So this is this guy. It's really not his fault. He's ignorant. He doesn't know so much. He was taken to Siberia. You know, he worked hard all his life. He doesn't do it because he just doesn't know. And please don't talk to him, because I really care for your honor. I don't want him to start screaming at you or have this attitude towards you. Please don't. So the rabbi, he listened to what he tells him, but still comes next to this guy, gives him a hand, says, hello, how are you? And he tells him, so I heard that you were abducted many years ago as a little boy, right? And you were taken to Siberia, right? And you were raised among the Gentiles, and you don't know any Judaism, any mitzvot, right? He tells him, I envy you. You have such a big merit. You know, you lived all your life like a Gentile. You didn't know anything about Judaism, and yet, when they forced you or asked you to convert to Christianity, you never converted yourself to Christianity. You hold on your Judaism so much, even though you didn't know. Your merits in heaven are so great. I feel, I wish I would be like you. So this guy hears what the rabbi tells him, and he starts to tear. He becomes very emotional. He says he understood who is this Chafetz Chaim, was a great rabbi, and he tells him, Rabbi, and the rabbi tells him, listen, if you really, you already came to this stage that you made mesirut nefesh, mean you gave all your life, and you hold yourself to stay Jewish, I'm sure you're going to be the happiest man alive if you are going to, from now on, live like a real Jew. You know, if you're going to live like a real Jew now, you're going to be even happier. When this is the attitude, they said that this guy was sitting next to this rabbi and asking, Rabbi, guide me, tell me what am I supposed to do, what I'm not supposed to do. And the rabbi taught him, and he really followed him and became a good Jewish guy. When you rebuke with love, when you do it with respect, when you show that you care about the person, this person, even though he didn't know so much, he will accept it. So it depends how you do. When you rebuke, do it with love. This is what it says. Because it says about Hashem that Hashem also does it with love. It says that when something like that happens, Hashem, right, that's the question. Okay, whatever. I'll come to it maybe later. Next thing that I want to speak to you about is Lashon Hara. No, we mentioned a bit before, slander. It says that Moshe Rabbeinu, till he was a teenager, he was by the king's palace. He was raised in Pharaoh's palace, okay? So basically, he had everything. He was raised like a prince in a palace, right? He had his honors, he had his education, he had everything. But still, it says that he went out to see his brothers. Okay, he saw that his brothers are suffering. He saw that that they're in pain. He saw that it's so hard for them. Okay, but once he wanted to try to help them, okay, he saw two Egyptians. He saw an Egyptian hits a Jewish man. It bothered him, and then he says two Jewish men are fighting between each other. And when he was trying to come and tell him, hey, to rebuke, so this Datan Baram, these two guys, they tell Moshe, oh, you want to do to us whatever you did yesterday to the Egyptian, you kill him, you want to kill us too? Moshe saw that they speak Lashon Hara, they already heard what happened, and they deliver it to others, they don't keep it to themselves. He says, now I understand why they're in exile. Now I understand why they suffer. Because there's a lot of slander among them. Okay? It says that as I said before, Lashon Hara comes from hatred. What happens when people, they insult one another? Masechet Gittin. You all know the story. Every Tisha B'Av we talk about this. A story about Kamsa and Bar Kamsa. Okay, there was this rich man. They wanted to make a big party in his house, and he had two friends. I mean, he had a friend by the name Kamsa. He tells his servant, go and invite Kamsa, my best friend, among of all the other friends. The servant made a mistake, and he went and he called Bar Kamsa. Bar Kamsa was his enemy, wasn't his friend. He calls him. So then, this rich man, he sees Bar Kamsa, his enemy, sits among all his guests. And he's so upset. He's his enemy. What is he doing here? Why is he here? He comes to him and tells him, hello, what are you doing here? He tells him, well, your servant, he invited me. I guess he made a mistake, but I'm here now. And he tells him, I want you to leave. He tells him, yeah, but now that I'm invited and I'm sitting here in front of all the rabbis and all these guests that you have, it's not nice. So, you know something, whatever I'll eat, I'll pay for you. Don't worry. How much is $100? $150 is a portion? I'll pay for it. No, I want you to leave. So he tells him, but it's not nice and I feel embarrassed over here. You know something? How much does all this meal cost you? Okay? $3,000? $5,000? I pay half of it. No, I want you to leave. I'll pay everything. No, I want you to leave. He felt embarrassed. He felt humiliated, and we can understand why. And he left. Now he has so much bad feelings inside him. How come the owner of the house, how come all the guests, how come the rabbis that sat in the first row were quiet and didn't say anything? Nobody rebuked him. Nobody said hello, so let him stay, so what's the big deal? Nobody said anything. He was so upset at them, and he went to the emperor and he told them, the Jews are rebelling against you. And the emperor says, who said? He said, I'll prove you. Send a sacrifice, and they used to accept sacrifice also from Gentiles, not only from Jews, and you will see that they will not accept it in the Holy Temple. So he gives the sacrifice, an animal, and Bar Kamsa went and made a damage in this animal. And when there's a damage in the animal, he has a wound or something, they don't accept it. He made this damage, and he brings it to the Holy Temple. Now, if they won't accept it, well, the emperor will be very upset at them. They didn't know what to do. Rabbi Zechariah ben Avkula say, what can we do? We cannot accept it. This is when the emperor heard it, and then he came and he fought against them. See what Lashon Hara, because of whatever happened, he went and he spoke slander about the Jews. And see what happens when people embarrass other people. Okay? This was the only person, he was the only one that was embarrassed then. And still, his embarrassment, his busha, the fact that he felt, humiliated there, his humiliation soared to heaven, and in heaven they said that the Jews were wrong, and because of that, all these problems started in Jerusalem. So what do we do now? How do we work on this sinat chinam? How do we make ahavat chinam? How do we make love now? How do we work on this? It says, ve'ahavta l'raecha kamocha. What's the purpose? Do you need to love each other and other people? Just because Hashem created this person. The fact that Hashem created this person, you're supposed to love him. Ve'ahavta l'raecha kamocha. Same way you love yourself. If we have any kind of fault, we forgive each other. A person doesn't have to be a beautiful man in order to love himself. He loves himself no matter what. He doesn't have to be tall, he doesn't have to be skinny, he doesn't have to be light skinned, he doesn't have to have this kind of a hair or that, or he doesn't have to be perfect in a way of all kind of qualities. He doesn't have to be the smartest, he doesn't have to be the person loves himself no matter what. Same way, you love yourself no matter what, you're supposed to love your friend no matter what. This is the idea of ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha. Same way you're willing to forgive yourself, okay, this is how you're supposed to forgive the other. This is one way of it's interesting. When we pray in the morning, we say Habucher be'amo Israel ahavat olam ahavtanu. We ask Hashem, we say to Hashem, Hashem, you love us, and you chose us from all the nations. Bucher be'amo Israel be'ahava. Right afterwards, we say Shema Israel, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, and we start to say ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha. You're supposed to love Hashem with all your heart, right? So, but these two things go